Hey everyone, and welcome to the Lumi Knits YouTube channel. My name's Hayley and I'm a knitter. I've got lots of stuff to tell you about today. It's been a while since my last podcast, so I'm going to get straight into it. But before I do, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the beautiful land on which I live and work, the Wadawurrung people. I'd like to thank them for their ongoing custodianship and recognise their enduring connection to the land, skies and waterways, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. You can find me on Instagram at lumi.knits and on Ravelry at luminitsau, all lowercase. I'm terrible at keeping both of those things updated, but you may find something there that you like, so feel free to jump on and take a look. Today I'm going to talk about a few finished objects and a few works in progress and probably just general chit chat. So feel free to stick around as long or as short as you'd like. So the first finished object that I'm going to talk to you about is up on the wall, and that is my Alpine Bloom t-shirt. I've been working on this for quite a long time, I think well over a year. I don't generally knit fingering weight patterns at that size, so that's partly why it took so long. And secondly, this garment, although it is beautiful, was an exercise in frustration for me. I should say it was an exercise in patience, but it wasn't. There was so much impatience going on with it. When I started the project, I was in a smaller body, and then my body got larger, and then it got smaller again. So now I've got a really strangely fitting garment because I tried to accommodate for those fluctuations at each point where I was knitting. So I think I started knitting a size 4. And I had to pull out the yoke a couple of times because I either made a mistake or it just didn't fit right. And so then I tried it on, and after I'd split for sleeves, and it was far too small, so I changed the stitch count up to the size 5 and continued in size 5 on the body and the sleeves. And the body fits okay, great length, a bit too much fabric around my middle, but the arms are quite big and floppy, so I'm not really enjoying the garment. I haven't worn it yet. I'll take some photos maybe and insert them of what it looks like on so you can see, but it's just been frustrating, and it's so sad because it looks so beautiful up on the hanger. The colour work is lovely. The yarn I used is beautiful. The main colour is a Fluff and Nonsense Merino Silk Yak in their colourway Burnished, which I absolutely love. And I love everything about the yarn. It was a real kind of special yarn for me to use, and I was very excited about it. I took a long time choosing a contrast colour, and when I finally settled on that beautiful burgundy, I was so happy with the way it looked. But unfortunately the garment itself just isn't what I hoped it would be, but it's not something that I'm prepared to continue altering or to frog, because it has just been a lot of work. I think maybe I will get some wear out of it, throwing it over the top of dresses or high-waisted pants would be okay. It's just the arms are a bit floppy. And I did try and do the lace cuffs, so I knit them, I knit the lace cuffs and then grafted one on, and I could not have disliked that look any greater than what I did. I was actually kind of horrified, which, you know, is it's a big reaction, but I was horrified when I grafted that lace sleeve on. I felt like it ruined the whole garment, so I ended up unpicking the grafting and just putting on a plain rib sleeve. I think I knit this in 3.5mm needles or maybe 3mm needles. I can't remember. It'll be in my Ravelry page, maybe. I'm pretty sure it's in there. Yeah, so overall I love the idea of this garment. I love the lace neckline. I love the colour work pattern. It's really up my alley. I love the yarn, but for some reason and, you know, probably user error. It just didn't come together the way that I really hoped and anticipated. So that's a little bit sad for me. But I am very, very glad it's off my needles, because I honestly don't want to knit it anymore. I am done. I did think about going back and re-knitting the sleeves and sort of knitting a bit longer in stockinette, and then doing some decreases so it fitted a bit closer to my arm. But honestly, the thought of picking this up and knitting it again just doesn't appeal to me at all. So I decided not to do that. So I think that's all I can really say about it. I'm always a little bit torn with Caitlin Hunter's patterns, because I don't think I've ever knit one straight out of the gate, like straight out of the box, and had it work well. I've had to make significant modifications on all the Caitlin Hunter patterns that I've ever attempted to knit, and this one was no exception. But again, that could be user error in this case. Who knows? I'm not going to try again. I may use the actual the colorwork pattern again, because I honestly, I really, really love the motif that's in it. So that might be something that I do in the future. So that's the Alpine Bloom, that's done, and I am going to put it in the back of my wardrobe for at least a month before I even attempt to wear it, because I am done with it. The next finished object I wanted to show you was a gift for my daughter. She is an ocean baby, and she loves the sea, and she wants to be a marine biologist / deep sea diver. She's a kid who knows what she wants. And I picked up the Knitted Menagerie book by Sarah Keane at the library just for a look, and she saw the Seahorse and she said, "Mum, please will you make me the Seahorse?" So I did. I'm not usually a toy knitter. It's just not really, I don't enjoy working on, you know, DPNs and small things, but this has actually come up pretty well. I'm quite happy with it. My screen that I'm looking at has gone off, so I'm hoping that you can see what I'm showing you. So the Seahorse has got these little wings on the side, which I've stitched down because they were kind of flapping all over the place. I'm not sure, I'll hold that up. They were flapping all over the place, and they just didn't really work as well that way. It's got this cute little beak that kind of reminds me of a dodo, and you know, the big seahorse tummy, and then a curly tail. And the curly tail is made by using a pipe cleaner or a chenille stick, but unfortunately this chenille stick has decided to poke its way through, so I keep having to shove it back in. So this is just a cute little seahorse. I think I used some scrap Bendigo Woolen Mills yarn from when I knit my Tecumseh sweater. It was one of the contrast colours, and I've just been chipping away. Off the top of my head, it is Aegean mix, the colourway, but I can't remember the actual yarn. And the contrast colour that makes all the beautiful stripes and cute little nose is a Craft by Bella one of a kind DK weight colourway that I received in a giveaway from Madeline over at Mad About You. Sorry, it took me a little while to remember her channel name. Yeah, I won this in a giveaway from her a couple of years ago. I should have said actually in my Alpine Bloom, the contrast colour is a Daffodil Road sock yarn that I won in that same giveaway. So it's getting a lot of use over time. I've used these colourways in a few different things as contrast colours because I could never settle on one project for them. So they're really, I'm getting a lot of mileage out of them. Thanks again, Madeline. They've been beautiful. And I've still got more of both, so who knows where they're going to show up next. And so that's just the Seahorse from the Knitted Menagerie book by Sarah Keane. The patterns are on Ravelry. She's got heaps of great patterns in there, but I just don't love knitting toys, so I probably won't do another one. And the last finished object that I've got to show you is just a pair of stripy Scrappy socks in the colours that I really, really love. So this is just my sort of vanilla sock pattern. This time I did a heel flap and gusset. I really hope I'm showing these the right way because the screen's turned off. And it was just a very basic knit. I did this one in December because I wanted to try and use up some of the scrap yarn that I've got. I'm not sure if you can see it, but behind me I've got that massive glass jar that used to be a terrarium, and it's just full of scrap yarn that I'm going to have to do something with one day. And I figured in December this was the time to do it. I was spending a lot of time in the car traveling, and just really needed something easy and fun to do, and I wanted something a bit different. But I really love these. I love the colours. It's all the mustards and pinks and purples, kind of sunsetty and sunrisey colours that I enjoy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to wearing these. I have saved them. I haven't worn them yet because I knew I wanted to show them in the podcast. So here they are. So that's my last finished object. I only have 5 works in progress, which is a little bit unlike me. I think sometimes I have up to 20. They don't all get knit. They often get pulled out. But yeah, I'll often have a lot of whips, but I'm kind of trying to condense them down a little bit. So I'll go through those and tell you about those. I think these ones will all make full, like they'll all end up being completely made. And I've just realised I've left one of them on the other side of the room. So I think I'll pause here and I'll go grab it and then I'll come back. Okay, I'm back, and I have the whip that I've been working on the most lately here with me, and I've also turned my screen so it doesn't turn itself off after 5 minutes. So hopefully I'll be able to see what I'm showing you this time. So this is the Emery Vest and Pullover by Joji Locatelli. I bought this pattern probably about 6 months ago. It was when it first came out, because I just really liked the pattern. I honestly don't often buy patterns on a whim anymore. I used to do that a lot, and I've got so many patterns that I've never knit. But this one, I saw it and I'd been looking for a cable pattern that I really liked. So when this one popped up, I bought it right away. And I'm not sure if it's going to be the vest or the pullover yet. I'm going to see how I go. I'm knitting it up in the Bendigo Woolen Mills Rustic 12 ply in the colourway Mustard. I love the colour mustard, obviously. Yeah, it's been, I've gone from someone who wore pretty much exclusively black, white and grey to a much more colourful person, and mustard was the gateway colour for that. So I really do love that colour. The very first jumper I knit for myself was in a mustard, and it's just got a really special place in my heart. So I'm excited about this garment, whether it's a vest or a pullover. I really don't mind. I just love the colour, and I think anything I make in that will be a really welcome addition to my wardrobe. So I will show you where I'm at. This is the back. It's the first section. I'm not very far, but it took me a long time to get my head around the cable chart and joining the bits at the beginning, and following 3 cable charts at once that are all at different stages. That was really tricky for me, and I had to experiment with how to keep track of that, but I'll talk more about it once I've shown you. So this is what I've got so far. Oh, it looks so pretty. Yeah, look at that. So I'm super happy with how it's coming out. I have had a couple of disasters and I've had to pull back. I think I had to pull back in one of the smaller cables. In one of these ones, I had to go back probably about maybe 2 repeats because I'd crossed the cable the wrong way, and I thought I could get away with it, but I couldn't. So I did some surgery on that last night, and I just basically pulled down the 4 stitches all the way down to where the mistake was, and then knit them back up the ladder, and that works surprisingly well. Like, I can't even tell which cable it was on anymore. So I think that's a real win for me, that I didn't destroy the whole thing and have to start again. But I'm absolutely loving this pattern now that I've got into a bit of a rhythm with it. I love how quickly it knits up because it's such bulky wool. I'm not used to that. And after the old Alpine bloom up there, 12 ply is a very welcome change, very fast. So I'm knitting the size 8, and I can't remember why I chose that size. I can't find any information about why I chose that size. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a mystery size. Hopefully, if it's big, which it probably will be, because when I measured for that I was a little bit bigger than I am now, but that's okay. I don't mind. I love an oversized jumper anyway, or an oversized vest. Either way, I think I'm going to be really happy with this, and looking at the size of it on my body, that seems like a pretty good back measurement on me. So very, very excited and happy with how this one's going. I think that's all the information I really need to give you about what I'm using. I'm knitting it on 5mm needles. I did swatch for it, which is good because swatching is not my favorite. Yeah, so hopefully this one comes out well, and next time I check in I've got more to show you on that. Cracker. That's all. It's in a wooden yarn bowl at the moment, so my yarn can roll around and not get you know, annoying. So the next one isn't exciting at all. It's just my travel knit, and it's just a pair of 2x2 rib socks with a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I'm doing these ones concurrently, so one of them's a little further along than the other, but I've had these on the needles probably for about 3 years. This yarn has been 2 different jumpers. I tried to do a shifty sweater in it, and I could not get gauge. I could not get the right fit. I tried to do it without getting gauge, and it was a nightmare. And then I tried to knit an Aldous sweater by Isabel Kramer out of it, and I think I knit pretty much the whole thing and then pulled it out, and I can't remember why. It'll be in the notes in my Ravelry. But anyway, they're just a self-drafted, boring little 2x2 rib sock, but I really love how stretchy they are. I think they're going to be very comfortable to wear. So those ones are ticking along. The next one, that's an empty bag. The next one is, my daughter's getting really spoiled at the moment because her brother got a jumper last winter. She wanted one too, but I'm kind of reluctant because the kids love them so much that they don't wear them. And I feel like it's just a lot of work for a garment that doesn't get worn. And then because they grow so fast, it gets outgrown. And so she said she really wanted a garment. And I said, well, how about a poncho? Because, you know, a poncho, you can't really grow out of a poncho that quickly. And so I had some, I don't know where it came from. I did once, but I don't know where it came from. I had some quite thin yarn in these sorbet-ish kind of colours. And then I had a set of minis that I bought from Melbourne City Dyeworks the first time I went to the Bendigo Australian Sheep and Wool show in Bendigo, which would have been the year before last, so 2023. I impulse bought a set of 5 mohair minis, and they were very beautiful, but not all that practical for me. I've never knit with mohair before. I had no plan for it. I just loved the colours and really wanted it. So I've incorporated them into this poncho. It's very basic. It's just increase every second row and hope for the best until it's big enough. So this is way too small. Look, honestly, it's not my favourite thing to work on, so it doesn't get a lot of attention, but every now and then I'll pick it up and try and do a couple of rows so that when she says, how's my poncho going, Mum, I can say, oh, good. I did a little bit on it yesterday. But yeah, I'll probably try and get that done for her in time for this winter. It may even be a decent travel knit because it is very just, you know, stockinette-y. And I really do like the colours. They're very cute. She'll look like a little stripy icy pole in winter. Anyway, there's a pattern in here for it. It is called The Basic Children's Poncho by Shayna Billow Designs. So I'll pop that in the show notes if you're interested. It's very simple. There's not a lot to it, and I'm confident that it's a free pattern, so you can jump on and take a look if that's something that appeals to you. My next one is so pretty. Like I love it, and I've been picking it up and putting some time into it. And this is my Go Dynamo shawl. Obviously, I am not keeping up with the clues. I nearly said cues then, or cruise. I'm not keeping up with the clues. I am still only on clue 2 of 4 and just about to finish that. But I really love how this is looking. So I bought the Circus Tonic Handmade kit for this, and so that is the yellowy colour is called Golden Hour, and the purpley colour is called Sundown. And instead of the Mohair Dare, I put in the Burgundy from Daffodil Road yarns, and that is in the brioche sections, and I really like that. You can't see it as well on the screen, but it is a beautiful contrast to that purple and gold. So it's a very regal shawl, and I love the little rainbows. Oh, they're so pretty. So I'm really looking forward to getting back into this one as well. But oh my gosh, so many ends. I'm not excited about that at all. So yeah, I don't think there's really any other information I can give you on that one. It's just a slowly project that I will love when it's finished. And the final one is a new cast on that I did before I decided I was definitely going to get the Alpine bloom finished. So I cast it on and then said to myself, no, stop, go finish that Alpine bloom, just get it done. But this is the thing that I really wanted to be knitting on at that time. This is the Louise Pullover by Lisa Woolridge, and I'm knitting this up in Bendigo Woolen Mills 8-ply Galaxy, which is a discontinued yarn, but it is a bamboo and wool blend. Off the top of my head, could be wrong. It's in my Ravelry, I know, because I just checked it before. And this yarn was intended to be a Lodestar sweater, but I could not get the yoke on that right. And I'm not the only one. I have a friend in England who was working on it as well, Justine, and she couldn't get it right either, and she ended up frogging hers. I think I gave it a red hot go. I think I did it about 4 times before I gave up. And I know Justine had quite a few cracks at it, but we just couldn't make the numbers work, and it was lopsided, and it was one of those patterns that it's really important for it to be not lopsided so it looks good. Anyway, so all I've done is a folded neckband, which is looking really nice, and I think this is a really good size for me because I don't like things tight around my neck. And I've done the short rows in the back, and that's it. I did have more done, but I made a mistake and I had to pull it all out, so I had to pull back all the way to the collar, but it's no big deal because I was not that far in. Anyway, this tells you absolutely nothing about what it's going to be like. It's a 8-ply DK weight pullover, and it is all over bobbles, so I'm super excited about that. And it was funny because once I bought the pattern and cast it on, and I think like the next day Caitlin Hunter released a testing call for an all over bobble sweater, and I thought to myself, oh, you know, I could have applied to do that. And then I reminded myself that for some reason I have a lot of difficulty with her patterns and time pressure would not help. So I'm very glad I bought this. The colour's beautiful, and I think the actual colour's much better suited to the Louise pullover with the all over bobbles than the Lodestar. So I'm happy about that decision. Yeah, but you'll hopefully see more progress on that next time I check in. And I wanted to show you this as well. I'll have to try fit it in. I picked this box bag thing up at the op shop for $1, and it's been amazing for holding my bigger projects. So you can see I've got it in there. I've got the yarn, and this was holding my Alpine bloom with 2 different yarns in different bags and all my notions, and it's been really handy because you zip it up and then carry it around, and it's super good. So I'm really loving this for storing my whips. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, yeah, it's been great because usually all my project bags are fabric ones that I make myself, or I've got one that I purchased. I can't remember from who or where, but yeah, usually I just store my projects in project bags that I make. So this has been a good one. I went to a local yarn store for their knitting mornings with their knitting group a couple of weeks ago, and that was really enjoyable. Little Bluebird Yarns out in Creswick, which is about a half-hour drive for me, but I love Creswick, so I'm always happy to head out there. But I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to be consistent in attending, which is a bit of a shame because it was really nice. Everyone was really welcoming, interested in what I was doing, and it was great to see what other people were doing and just to talk about our projects and our craft in a way that you can with people who do the same thing as you. I don't really know any other knitters, so I often don't have anyone to talk to about what I'm doing or to troubleshoot or get advice or give advice or anything like that, because it's really nice to have input and help other people with their projects as well. So I really love that. But tomorrow, my local branch of the Country Women's Association is meeting for a craft morning. So it's a public holiday and my kids are with their grandparents. Thanks, Mum. So I think I'll probably go down there and see what that's like. I feel like I need to, get to know some other knitters so I can talk about knitting more, because who doesn't want to talk about knitting more? Other than that, that's all my whips. Yes. That's all my finished objects. That's my knitting group talk. I have been reading quite a bit, but the last 2 books I've read, I have really not liked the protagonists. So I've taken a bit of a break because I don't think I can handle another book where I would love to shake someone. The last 2 protagonists, just didn't like them. So yeah, I'm going to take a break from that. I don't have any plans for new cast-ons other than I will probably knit some socks for my grandpa. It was his 90th a couple of weeks ago, and I knit him a pair of bed socks in a really nice thick chunky yarn. I think it was Cleckheaton Verve, and he loved them. I made them slightly too long because I overestimated his foot size, but they're nice and loose around his ankles, and he really liked them and said that he could really use a couple more pairs. So at some point I'm going to have to go and buy yarn for that and knit those. But they were very fast. I knit 2 socks in, I think, 2 days, because the cast on was something like 38 stitches, and it was just round and round and round and round, chuck in a heel, do the foot, do the toe, and done. So it was very fast. So I'll probably do a couple more pairs for that. But other than that, I'm planning no new cast-ons, except maybe I do have this this fluff and nonsense yarn that I was going to use as the contrast colour in the Alpine Bloom, but obviously that didn't really match very nicely, and there wasn't enough contrast. I'm thinking about making a basic sort of scarf or cowl with this. It's a little bit more muted in real life. It's coming up quite saturated and jewelly toned on the camera, but it's a little bit calmer than that in real life. It's kind of like almost like a sagey forest green, I suppose. So this is really pretty, and I love the Merino Silk Yak blend because it's so soft and it feels really nice against the skin. So that may be another cast on, but I'm trying to keep it tight with my whips because I get too many and then I don't finish things. So I'm trying to do like a 1 in, 1 out deal. I think that's about all from me. I feel as though I've gone at my usual breakneck speed. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to pop them below. I'm always happy to hear from you. I think that's all. I'll take some shots of the Alpine Bloom on my body, and then you can see what it looks like and you can get a better view of why I don't like the sleeves. But again, like I just really don't want to have anything to do with it. It's up on the wall and it looks super pretty up there. Like it's a really nice decorative piece, but So wherever you are and whatever you're doing, hope you're having a wonderful day. Thanks for sticking with me if you have up to this point, and if you haven't, you won't hear it anyway, and I don't blame you. So thank you, and I'll talk to you soon. So I just remembered I was going to talk about how I'm keeping track of my cable charts. I was using little see-through sticky notes, and that was pretty good, but they were losing their stick. So I was going to get a like metal tray and some magnets and that sort of thing and move them as I do the charts. But then I thought, well, maybe I'll just laminate it and use a whiteboard marker. So that's going to be my next attempt at keeping track of my cable repeats. Does anyone have any other tips on how they can keep track of their cables? Because this has got 5 different charts that you have to keep track of, and 3 of them are all happening at different stitch, like different row counts. So I've got one at 24 rows, one's 6 rows and one's 10 rows. I'm not a person who can sit down and like write it out. I'm not a person who can draw a diagram. I need this chart, but I need to know where I am on each of them. So if you've got any tips on cable charts, I'd love to hear them. Maisie! Sorry, my dog just started shaking. It sounded like a huge dog fart, but it wasn't. She's just shaking off. So yeah, if you got any tips on keeping track of cable charts, I'd love to hear them. Chuck them in the comments and let me know.